Right now, you have the power to amplify the voices of over 40 million people with one hashtag. In September 2016, we made a video just like this.
We wish we weren't doing this again.
But here we are, and in the next few minutes, we're going to tell you exactly why.
On the night of June 29th,
Hachalu Hundessa, an iconic Oromo singer and activist,
was assassinated in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's capital.
a city known to the Oromo as Finfinne.
We don't know who pulled the trigger, but there are a lot of things that we do know.
Like, just a week prior, Hachalu gave an interview on the Oromo Media Network,
where he expressed his sincere concerns regarding the current Ethiopian government.
He shared suppressed truths about Menelik II and shined a light on Ethiopia's real history.
Hachalu's music served as the soundtrack of the revolution during the 2016 Oromo protests.
Songs that are a continuous reminder to the Oromo that they have the right to self-determine their future.
The Oromo Media Network was raided by the military one day after his death, and its journalists were arrested.
Over 100 people have been killed by security forces in 3 days. And with the internet shut down,
It is impossible to know what is really going on in the country.
To really understand what all this means, we need to give you more information.
About the activities of the Ethiopian government since Abiy Ahmed assumed leadership in April 2018.
Hailed for his reforms and a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, not long after the nation and the world celebrated his efforts, things started to change.
Opposition leaders who have legal standing to operate in Ethiopia were being arbitrarily arrested and remain so today.
military command posts were set up. Beatings and killings began in Walaga, Guji and Borana, all Oromo regions.
And this following point right here is very important for you to understand.
In a country that is supposed to be a constitutional multinational federation, Abiy dissolved the multinational structure of the government.
An extremely worrisome development for the Oromo and all nations and nationalities in Ethiopia who seek self-rule and self-determination.
What we have to remember is that Abiy Ahmed is not an elected leader.
And he's made little effort to ensure free and fair elections since his appointment.
It is in this context, and in the context of an Ethiopia that sees prominent Oromos murdered, that we assert that Hachalu Hundessa was assassinated.
Over 40 million people are still in shock and in mourning.
Hachalu's uncle was killed by the military 2 days after his nephew's assassination.
And it's what's happening in Ethiopia right now that we must give our attention to.
Leaders of the Oromo Federalist Congress, Jawar Mohammed, Bekele Garba, Hamza Borana, and at least 35 other leaders, activists and journalists are being detained without having committed any crime.
The Makalawi prison, a notorious torture chamber that Abiy closed.
As part of his initial reform, is where these leaders are currently being illegally held.
We know they've been physically assaulted while detained. Jawar is on a hunger strike and Bekele is very ill.
2 US citizens, Redwan Aman and Yusuf Bashir, are unlawfully detained and we still don't know where they are.
We all anticipated a national reconciliation process to take place when Abiy assumed his position.
It could have happened. It could have changed the direction of Ethiopia for good. But it didn't.
And in light of this moment, for the Oromo and every other nation and nationality in Ethiopia, our demands are clear.
An independent external investigation into Hachalu Hundessa's assassination.
The immediate resignation of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed.
The end of extrajudicial killings of civilians. The release of all political prisoners.
Free and fair elections in 2020.
An end to the internet and phone line shutdown.
And finally, we demand that the international community impose immediate sanctions on Ethiopia if these demands are not met.
We will no longer be satisfied with symbolic victories.
The Oromo demand real justice.
I am Oromo.
We are Oromo.
I stand
with Oromo protests.
Do you?